There comes a time in every Pokemon generation where more content is released apart from the base game for that gen. And with these additions, one feature has been consistently added to each since Generation 6. That feature being the ability to catch all previous legendaries, and the ability to shiny hunt them. But that isn't the only reason I think we need them back in the hidden treasure of Area 0. During Generation 6, Game Freak saw how infeasible it would be to give each legendary their own in-game event, as the amount of legendaries had climbed up to 35 prior to X and Y's release. So, to continue to make each legendary possible to catch, they opted for a more easily widespread method in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, with the various Mirage spots and portals allowing you to encounter every remaining legendary with basically the same method. This was mostly considered a positive addition, however, it would become the start of the lessening value of legendary Pokemon. The following generation brought back this feature again in Ultra Sun and Moon, but this time it was even more uniform. Each past legendary could now be caught in its respective wormhole, which you could fly through during the Ultra Warp Ride. However, from a story perspective, it was odd, but totally not absurd, that each legendary would just be sitting waiting for the player on some random island light years away in space. But now it gets really absurd. In Sword and Shield's second DLC, the Crown Tundra, you can encounter all legendaries up to Generation 7 in a surprisingly fun co-op set of 4 Dynamax battles, with the first 3 battles being against regular Pokemon, and the 4th being the boss battle against the legendary. This was my favorite method, not only fun-wise, but shiny hunting-wise, as each Pokemon you caught had a 1 out of 100 chance of being shiny. But this is by far the most convoluted from a story perspective. You know, I have absolutely no clue why the God of Time would leave Arceus' side and travel to the bottom of a random cave in Scotland, along with 47 other random gods and deities from around the world. But that leaves us off where we are today, in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's DLC, where a legendary catching mechanic has not yet been announced, but I believe that this is the time where it is needed the most. First off, competitive accessibility. The current rule set for Scarlet and Violet competitive play includes all transferable Pokemon, which has quite a few legal legendaries on the list. So it's quite troublesome if you only have Scarlet or Violet, even though the Pokemon on your team need to be caught in a completely different game, as well as a completely different game plus a DLC. So if the Indigo Disc were to have, say, Terra Raid Adventures, all these Pokemon could just be caught in this game, with the purchase of a DLC. But it's still far better than the former. And now for the second and more selfish reason. We could shiny hunt more legendaries. Each game that's allowed past legendaries to be caught included the fact that you could shiny hunt them, even the legendaries that were previously locked in the prior generation. This would mean that a similar legendary feature in Scarlet and Violet would hopefully allow for Generation 8 legendaries to finally be fully huntable. I'm not sure how realistic this hope is, as legendaries returning had been a large focus during the build-up for Ultra Sun and Moon, as well as the Crown Tundra, and so far, we've gotten radio silence. But a boy can hope. Thanks for watching, and let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. But as always, everyone, take care.